What if hedge funds were no longer allowed to purchase single-family homes? Would housing prices finally drop? Would rents skyrocket? What does that mean for the average American? President Trump is proposing restrictions on hedge funds buying single-family homes. At least in my world, that's the big news. I think it's huge. If it's done right, and it doesn't matter who does it, there's going to be something missing. But if it's done right, I think it could really benefit the world. You might be asking why this is even a discussion. I think it's important for those not familiar with the real estate world to understand hedge funds and large institutional investors have been buying up single-family homes at scale. There's been a huge concentration in the Sun Belt and Midwest markets. Now, this is not about mom and pop landlords buying a few houses. This is about huge corporations pooling capital and buying thousands of homes in markets all over the place. I think last year, 2025, they accounted for 358,000 or so home purchases. That's a significant amount of homes. So what are the 5 big pros on why this would benefit us? It means there's more homes for actual buyers out there. You're not competing against hedge funds and large institutional buyers, which that means less competition from cash offers. People offering more than what the home is really worth would slow down tremendously, which then translates to FHA, VA, conventional loans, USDA, all of the loan types. It makes them more competitive. Honestly, what I think most people would like to see. Number 2 is there's a potential for price relief. So with the institutional demand, it inflates prices. Removing that, it will slow appreciation in entry-level housing. That's pretty cool. Entry-level housing. So removing the pressure from institutional demand, it may slow appreciation in entry-level housing, which is great for first-time home buyers. Housing prices don't only rise because of demand from families. Wall Street demand matters as well. Number 3, it gives higher home ownership rates. So it's an easier path to home ownership for working class buyers like you and I, which allows for long-term wealth building through equity. Number 4, there's stronger neighborhood stability. So owner-occupied homes equal lower turnover. What that means is, like, the average homeowner, I think right now, and I might be wrong, but right now, the average homeowner stays in their home for about 7 years. Whereas a renter, their average is like 14 months. That also means that there's more community investment and the upkeep is better. People treat the neighborhoods differently when they own than when they rent. That's just a reality. Number 5 is public trust and political appeal. Popular sentiment is housing should not be a financial instrument. What does that mean? It means hedge funds shouldn't be buying all the single-family homes in the country. It's for lack of a better term, it is unfair to working class folks. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I always wanted to buy a house. Now let's talk about some of the cons to proposing more restrictions on hedge fund buyers. Number one is there's going to be fewer rental homes. As big an evil as these hedge funds are, they do supply a large amount of rental inventory. Reduced supply can raise rents. No one wants to see that. Less investor ownership doesn't necessarily translate, it doesn't translate automatically to lower housing prices. It can mean higher rent. That's not something that any of us really want to get into. Number two, there's less capital for renovations. Institutional buyers often rehab distressed homes. Fewer investors could mean more neglected properties. Pre-COVID, we were looking at somewhere between 26 and 27 million abandoned homes in the U.S. As of last year, that number's somewhere around 15 million. So hedge funds and institutional buyers have done some good for housing across the country. Number three, enforcement nightmare. So hedge funds often operate through LLCs, shell entities, subsidiaries, all that good stuff. So as great as banning hedge funds from purchasing single family homes on paper looks and sounds, there's going to be a lot of challenges to anyone being able to enforce it. So is this just lip service? Maybe. I think everyone's grasping for a little bit of something right now, something good, because it's been a tough couple of years. Number four, there's going to be a change in pressure on home values with less hedge funds and institutional buyers focused on single family homes. It reduces demand. Reduced demand slows appreciation, which frankly helps out housing affordability. It does impact homeowner equity, which for those who own homes probably already have some equity in it, just won't build quite as fast. It's also going to affect local tax revenue. How will it affect the local tax revenue? With appreciation, more taxes the city gets, or the county, or the state, right? They are allotted that. So for you, it might mean an increase in tax percentage. So they take more. You know, one of the biggest risks to writing a law is that it might hit small investors harder than it hits Wall Street. Here's a reality check. A ban alone does not fix housing affordability. Like with anything, there is not one unicorn as to why this is, or a fix for what this is. Real solutions, they're going to include an increased housing supply. How do we get that? We need more builders. We need probably some of these vacant commercial properties to be transferred into residential properties. There needs to be zoning reform, which goes back to what I was just saying. There does need to be more incentives for owner occupants, and there needs to be very clear exemptions and definitions. So you don't fix housing supply by only banning buyers. You fix it by building homes. It's important to know that banning hedge funds from buying single-family homes sounds simple, but anytime you write policy, and I'm not a politician, but anytime you write policy, it's never simple. There are a lot of angles that need to be thought about. What are some of the things that you see associated with banning hedge funds from purchasing single-family homes? What are some of the things that you see that could fix or help fix the housing supply or housing affordability? Man, if we could fix housing affordability, we would be in a whole different world. So this proposed policy, it could help buyers. It could also hurt renters. The real question is, who are we trying to protect, or who are we trying to help? Like, comment, subscribe.